Hello, America and the world. Welcome to Life After Lockup. This is a program that is designed to show the public a different side of the criminal justice system. We do a lot of interviews with ex-offenders, with political officers. We do a lot of interviews with people that have things to do with the criminal justice system. And just to let you know, this is a program under Life Community. I want to let you know about some things that are going on in the community that is designed by Life Community. Every first Monday of the month, we have an ex-offender support group. We meet at the W.C. Young Community Center every first Monday at 5:30 to 6:30. Every second and fourth Monday, we have what we call Teen Ease Night. Teenagers from 13 to 19 come to the community kitchen on Jefferson Street, right across from Allen Autos. We have food, fun, and fellowship, and we have guest speakers that come in to just kind of give you some helpful information about life. Every Tuesday at 11:30 at Christ Temple, we have what we call Life Savers. Is anyone with any life controlling issues? Is an 8-week course. You get a certificate of completion after 8 weeks, and we try to help you find your, recognize your issue, deal with your issues, and get over your issues. It's a faith-based class every Tuesday at Christ Temple from 11:30 to 12:30. I want to also let you know about this program, Life After Lockup. You can see it at any time in any of our shows. You can see them on Paducah2.org. Hit video and skim down to Life After Lockup. You can watch any of these programs all over the world if you have the internet system. Also want to remind you that we have things for men every first Friday of the month at Christ Temple at 6 o'clock, and things also just strictly for women at the same time at Christ Temple. If you need any further information on what Life Community is doing in the community, you can call us at 270-575-3823. You can always email us at lifecommunities@bellsouth.net. Thank you again for watching this program. Call somebody, let them know you do not want to miss this program. You do not want to miss it. We want to welcome today a member of our criminal justice system. I want to welcome County Attorney Michael Murphy with us today. God bless you. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Good, good. I want to congratulate you too on your promotion. I never got an opportunity to do that. I want to congratulate you on your promotion, and I have come to know you as a fine man. I really appreciate your heart for the community and the job that you're doing. I want you to kind of tell us what is it that your department do? What is it that the county attorney does?
County attorney is a constitutional office. We have all kind of duties assigned to us by statute. We're responsible for misdemeanor criminal cases in the district court. We're responsible for juvenile cases, whether they're criminal or civil in nature. We're responsible for traffic laws, DUIs, traffic speeding tickets. We do adult disability cases when a grandparent or older person needs help. We take those cases to court that leads to the appointment of a guardian. Okay. We do planning and zoning. At least I do planning and zoning for the as their counsel. Oh, okay. I'm attorney for the McCracken County government, so I advise the government.
Oh, wow.
It's we run the child support office. We have literally thousands of cases that we deal with. So it's a full service, public service type of office.
Okay. About how many people you have working on you?
Total working we have in 2 locations, the child support office and the courthouse office. We've got 5 attorneys and 19 staff members for a total of 24 people.
Wow, and you are responsible for all that.
Yes, sir, I'm responsible for that.
Well, so far it seems like you're doing a real good job.
I appreciate it. I hope so.
And now, one of the things that we want to talk about today, among a few things, hopefully we can get it in the amount of time. There are some issues, maybe some misconceptions or misunderstandings in the public about the parental rights of children. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because some of parents, maybe in my church or just parents in the community, are afraid to discipline their children. They're afraid to deal with them maybe like how I was dealt with because of fear of going to jail. And I just kind of want to know where do parents stand when it comes to trying to make their kids do stuff? I mean, do you have any kind of ideas about what's happening to our children and why they are maybe out of control, or do they need discipline? Do they need a beating or what?
It's a big question. First of all, being a parent receives constitutional protection from the federal level of long-standing. Those are rights that are considered as basic human rights that you can have, the right to be a parent.
Okay.
Those are protected by law, state level and federal level.
Okay.
Corporal punishment in and of itself is not illegal.
Okay.
I've told you earlier,
Right.
I don't recall in my 9 years working with the county attorney's office seeing anybody come through on the misdemeanor level charged with any type of assault on the child and ends up going to jail because they spanked a child.
Okay.
I have seen cases that have been brought to court in juvenile court up in front of the family court judge on a civil level, where the allegation was made by social services that the child had been abused. The problem is it's easy to spank a child and you see it happening and you'll know, well, that's not physical abuse.
Right.
But the problem becomes when you cross the line and that spanking becomes a beating, and beating threatens life and breaks bones and
Right.
leaves whelps. Well, no one will think that's a proper way to
Right.
discipline a child. So the question always becomes is, where have you crossed the line?
Okay.
And those cases usually are resolved in family court. Occasionally, if they're that bad, they could be charged criminally, but if it's that bad, they're also probably charged upstairs as a felony.
Okay. Now, I've heard stories, and this is probably not true. I'm just saying this, but lady at McDonald's, a child won't behave himself. She pops him a few times. A customer calls the police. She gets arrested for. Is that something normal? Is that something that is probable?
I don't have any recollection of any case without fact pattern coming before me. It's not unusual for somebody to call law enforcement.
Right, right.
Law enforcement is more than happy to come out before anything gets out of control.
Right.
And an officer will always make that judgment on the scene. If he gets there and sees a child laying unconscious on the floor with blood down his chin, was that adult going to get arrested? My
Right.
guess is yes, and they should be.
Right, right.
But I don't think law enforcement really wants to get in to be the arbitrator of when you have what you can do to discipline a child. It may be poor parenting in a given context, but it doesn't make it illegal necessarily.
Right.
So I don't think those are real things that I see coming through our court system.
Okay, because a lot of stories come out. I think the stories sometimes they get exaggerated, and it puts fear into parents. And this is one of the reasons why I'm hoping that we can clear up some things as far as what is legal and what is not. Now, what I've read as far as legal, spanking, okay, is legal, but anytime I think what the law said that I read, that if you use anything other than your hand is considered a weapon.
I think it depends on what you use and how you use it. I don't think to use a paddle, for example, or a switch necessarily makes it a crime. Okay. It's the result, the physical injury, and we spoke earlier.
Right.
Oftentimes these things have a way of escalating. You have a mature child, older child, and a parent who's drawn the line in the sand and is ready for the fight. That argument escalates, and it gets to be a contest of willpower between effectively two adults, and,
Right.
and it stops being a punishment. It ends up being a fight.
Fight, right. And I think, we spoke earlier, and I really like what you said about sometimes is really if a parent draws its boundaries early, if they do something early to establish parental guidelines early, then it is probably easier when the child gets 13 or 14.
Well, I have no doubt about that. I firmly believe that children want discipline. They expect discipline. They want boundaries. They want rules. They want a parent that cares. And if you start when you're parenting with that in mind at an early age, you establish boundaries. The child learns that there are boundaries in his life or her life.
Right.
Then you have trained. It's just like I'm training a puppy, but I'm not.
Well, the
But
scripture says train, so train
so
is a good
you're
word.
training the child that there are things that are acceptable, there are things that are not acceptable.
Right.
There's consequences for certain behaviors. If you do that early, then it's much easier as you go along. If you have, on the opposite hand, a child that has no boundaries, no consequences, no parental involvement, the parent is training that child as well. He's training the child that the parent doesn't care what he does.
Right.
And then when you get older, there have never been boundaries, then there's resistance all of a sudden to change the rules of the game that the parent themselves established.
Right, and
that causes trouble.
It does, and what we see, those kind of children, when they go into the school system, there are no boundaries. They don't mind. They disrespect teachers. They really have no guidelines at all because it wasn't established at home. Because I believe that home should be the place that boundaries are established. I believe that, but as long as the parent understands that they do have the right to do that, and I want to speak on behalf of the parents that might not know that, and versus the parents that really have no boundaries anyway because they themselves didn't have any. Because we have different kinds of parents that causes different kinds of problems with children. But the children are the ones that seem to be getting the short end of the stick, because if the parent don't give them any boundaries, then they have to deal with the court system.
Well, they have to deal with a society as large. If you have no boundaries, you have no consequences, you have no idea that you'll ever be held accountable, that certain behaviors are expected of you as a child and as an adult, when you go out into the real world and you try to make your way through this world, you don't have the tools necessary to be successful.
Right, and so and you lose basically. And I think one of the things that I've been guilty of saying, and I think we talked about it because I was concerned. I was really concerned about the fact that the rights have been taken or the authority have been taken away from the parents and given to the criminal justice system or given to the juvenile system in a sense. And I think it's a big myth also, because you said something very interesting I didn't realize. When a child is late for school, they call it truancy or whatever.
Yes,
So now, kind of explain that a little bit to me. I mean, because what I'm getting is that parents can't make the kids go to school, so we have to turn them over into the court system. The court system locks them up.
Well, that would be an oversimplification.
Okay.
The cases do end up in court based on truancy.
Okay.
They can end up in family court, juvenile court. In a civil matter, they can end up in criminal court. And I'll explain the difference in those two things. First of all, the schools, McCracken County schools, and statewide, I believe, you can have 6 unexcused absences before you're considered truant. So they give you 6 free ones.
6 free.
Where you have no
Okay.
excuse whatsoever. You just didn't show up that day. 6.
Okay.
Those are in addition to any excused absences. You bring up a doctor's note in, Johnny was sick.
Okay.
At that point, once you cross the line and you have over 6 unexcused absences or tardies, you're by definition, by the law, a habitual truant.
Okay.
At that point, a petition may be taken out against the child in juvenile court, charging them with a status offense under the juvenile code of being truant.
Okay.
It's not a crime to be truant. It's a status.
Right,
It's
right.
a situation you're in.
Now is the parent charged at that time?
If we do family court, we take a petition against the child,
Okay.
alleging the child is a habitual truant, and when you take a petition against a child, you have to include a parent or guardian to come along with them. That's by law.
Okay.
So, but the parent's not being charged. The child is being charged with being the truant.
Okay.
Those are civil matters. Those result in a court order to require the child to attend school on time without absences or tardies.
Okay.
If they violate that court order, then they're subject to being held in contempt for the violation of the court order.
Court order. Okay. Now, when is the parent accused? Is the parent accused for endangering the welfare of a minor or whatever that is before the child goes to court or is held
Well,
in
these
contempt?
these are parallel tracks. They're alternatives.
Okay.
One is in family court in McCracken County as a civil matter. I do have the ability to charge a parent criminally with being with allowing their child to become truant,
Okay.
or I can charge the parent with an unlawful transaction
Of a minor. Right.
which is defined in the law as being a truant.
Okay.
And that's a misdemeanor.
Okay.
So the focus on the family court is an action against the child, asking that the child be held accountable. The focus in criminal court is against the parent, asking that the parent be held accountable. Those can be done at the same time. They can be done one to the exclusion of the other.
Right.
It just depends.
Okay, and I think what really needs to be brought out, because sometimes parents, it seems like they get maybe charged first, and they don't know. Some parents do not know that they can put the ball back in the child's court by declaring them
Beyond their parental control.
right, beyond parental control. And some parents don't know that because they might be working at night, they might can't get the child up, they didn't start early enough, so they have no control over the child at all. So the child basically is free, and the parent gets hauled into court and charged with that. Some of them don't know that they can go and get that done against the child.
Every case is going to be different.
Right.
Every fact pattern is going to be different. But yes, parents have the tool of the courthouse, to include using the county attorney's office. I'm more than happy to talk to people about this. Come in, tell me what's going on. I'll give a suggestion. But a parent may initiate a petition in family court alleging that their child is beyond their parental control. Not coming home when they're told, skipping school, not following the rules of the home. There's all kind of facts that would support that type of petition.
Right.
The end result, that's also a status offense. Mm-hmm. It's not a crime to be beyond your parents' control. Puts you in a status.
Okay.
The status will then allow the judge to, once she determines that you are beyond your parents' control, she will enter a court order, and she will establish legal parameters that the child is expected to follow. Well, I'm practical enough to know that if you had no parameters for the first 14 years of your life, that piece of paper may not do the trick.
Right.
And so we oftentimes will get the court order, expect the child to behave. They don't. We file a contempt petition alleging that you have violated the judge's court order. And you do that, you may do it 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times. And those can lead to detention as a punishment.
Right.
Which is never your first choice. It's what you're stuck with when you tried everything else.
Okay, and this is all good because we hear that they're going straight to detention. We can't handle them. We can take them to court. The court sends them to detention. But what you're saying, there's so many variables, so many different ways to not have to end up going to detention if the child. Detention is not the first choice.
No, and it's not the first for a variety of reasons. You can't detain a child, which lock up a child, for being a status offender. You can't lock up a child for being a runaway. You can't lock up with certain exceptions.
Right.
You have to control them long enough for somebody to pick them up and take them home.
Right.
But you can't put them in detention for 30 days because they ran away from home. You can't put them in jail for 30 days because they skipped school, and you can't put them in detention or jail for being beyond their parents' control. Those are specifically prohibited by statute.
Right.
But what the judge can do is sanction anybody who violates a direct court order, which is contempt.
Right. So if the court mandate that they do certain things and they don't do it, then they have violated the court order.
Yes.
And that's what gets them.
That's what can lead to.
Can lead to.
And oftentimes, most people understand that putting any human being in a box by itself doesn't solve a lot of problems.
Right.
But there are situations with juveniles, especially as they got older, and they've never had any boundaries. They're defiant to law enforcement, they're defiant to the principal, they're defiant to their parents, they're defiant to the family court judge. And either the court system, is going to come out on top of that deal, or the kid's going to come out on top of it. And most judges that I know are pretty determined that they're going to be on top.
Right, exactly. And I guess this is probably the part of the issue that I've had as an individual and as a pastor in the city and as a parent and all that. It still seems like the parent has basically their authority has been kind of snatched away from them, and the authority has been given to the court system to make the child mine, or to try to make them mine. And
that's not something that the court system really wants to do. The court system doesn't want to raise your child.
Okay.
The court system wants you to raise your child. And what we try to do is we're not trying to take anything away from somebody.
Okay.
What we're dealing with is people who've abandoned their responsibilities, who've abandoned their parental authority,
Right.
and turned their back on their child. And then the system has to deal with that, because
Okay.
we see the child out at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
We see the child involved in drug activity, alcohol activity. We see the child breaking into the neighbor's house and
Right,
stealing their
right,
pills.
right.
Well, no one would say that's acceptable behavior, and so we're stuck with the responsibility because parents, for whatever reason, wasn't able to control that child.
Right.
Juvenile system, both criminal juvenile system and civil juvenile system, in theory, in practice, is designed to rehabilitate a child. Nobody wants to lose another child. I've
Right.
lost too many in the last 30 years of my legal practice. Nobody wants to see a child take the God-given gift of life and waste it.
Right.
Nobody.
Because we know, and we've talked about this earlier, usually the juvenile detention center is a pipeline to the main prisons, usually. Because if they go through that, it can be. And if they go through that system without boundaries, without any type of discipline, usually they end up in prison or dead. But it's still, as long as parents know that they do have a legal right, or they are backed by the federal government or whatever in the Constitution in raising their child, they cannot. And I think that's where we have a problem, I think, with the legal system.
Well, I think there are many people who distrust the legal system.
Yes.
For a variety of reasons. They take their legal advice from the next door neighbor because they had a problem.
Yes.
But the legal system really is just me and you, community, setting up rules for the benefit of everybody, and we want to help.
Right.
I want to help you with your child. Am I any smarter than you? No, but I do know what the law, what tools the law gives me to try to help.
Right.
We try all kinds of things. We try education programs. We try mentoring programs. We try community work service programs. We try teen court, which is a peer diversion program.
Right,
Great
right,
program, actually.
right.
Child will make a mistake, minor mistake. Instead of going through the criminal system in juvenile court, they'll be diverted to a teen court,
Right.
which is a jury of their peers who hears the proof, hears the evidence, and decides the outcome of the case.
That's good.
We do truancy court right now, have one going on out at Reedland School District, where people that are on the verge of being charged criminally are notified. You're approaching the limit. We will give you the opportunity to participate in the truancy court every couple of weeks on site. People from the system come out. We'll interview people. We'll give suggestions. We'll do all kinds of things to meet you halfway to keep you or your child out of the system. And every year, there's somebody who looks at me and goes, yeah. But there's also every year many people who take the opportunity, who can solve whatever problem is leading to their child being truant, and it works.
Right.
But there's always somebody who doesn't believe that when you tell them, if you don't do this, you leave me no choice but to take you to court. There's always somebody that will go every single time.
And I guess, people, and you said it earlier, people don't trust the criminal justice system for whatever reason. And In our community, I'll say our community, in the black community, we see a lot of fathers and mothers that are incarcerated. Like you even said earlier, grandmothers are trying to raise the children that didn't really do a good job raising their children. They're trying to raise their grandchildren, and again, the children still lose. And is a lot of it is ineffective parenting. A lot of it is parents that are afraid because they don't really know the law, and a lot of it is just is the society that we're living in. But either way it goes, our children seem to be still getting the short end.
Well, the streets, as you know, sing a enticing song to children when they get to be a certain age. And you have a child that's enticed to the momentary fun or the momentary adrenaline, whatever that may be, and they don't have any discipline, they don't have any parameters in their life. That's a formula leading for disaster.
Exactly.
And so I don't have any more answers than you do, other than I'm always willing to try.
Right.
I don't give up on kids. I've been fooled before. I've been fooled by kids that I thought this kid's a lost cause. He's destined to be in the penitentiary, and he'll take those steps, and all of a sudden he'll get tired of it, and he'll come back and say, "No, I don't want that life anymore. What do I need to do to change?"
And that is so great.
And when you see that, it's always like finding a flower in the middle of a wasteland. It's something that's precious. Everybody wants success for everybody else's children. Until that child wants success for himself, then all you can do is talk at him. And what I tell parents, don't give up on your child. What you may be limited to is put your hand out and say, "Son, when you're ready, I'm here for you. Grab my hand. And I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here 40 years from now. Grab my hand."
And that is so profound and so good, because I'm hoping that our audience has got another view, of the county attorney's office, because you guys have been known as the bad guys or the evil ones, and you have enlightened us today. You definitely enlightened me about some things, and I'm glad that we know that you're available to be able to talk at any time with parents or whatever that might come through your office. I'm glad to know that, and I'm glad that parents know that. And we are just about out of time. I think we might have got 30 seconds. Did you have something else?
We're open for the general public Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You don't have to have an appointment. You come by. I will listen, or one of my assistants will listen to whatever problem you have. If we can give you insight or direction, we will.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. God bless you guys, and you have a marvelous day.